Okay, we've got a cool Scratch program now. We've got a cool background, some cool sprites, but it doesn't really do anything, right? It's just a pretty picture right now. And computer programming is the ability to tell the computer what we want it to do. So in this video, we are going to give our program its first command. Commands are what we use to tell our Scratch program what we want it to do. So let's get started. In order to give a sprite a command, we first have to select it. In order to select our sprite, we go down to the Sprite section in the lower left corner of the screen and find the sprite that we want to give the command to, in this case our dragon, and I'm going to click on it. So I click on the dragon and I see that the right half of the screen changed again, just like last time. Just like last time, we have the Scripts, Costumes, and Sounds tab. The Costumes tab is what we looked at in the last video, where we could make our dragon breathe fire, which is exciting. In this video, we're going to look at the Scripts tab. The Scripts tab is how we give commands to each of our sprites. Now, under the Scripts tab, there are two main parts. If you look on the right side of the screen, there's this big gray area. This is the Scripts area. And this is where we are going to put our commands or our blocks that we use to build our code in Scratch. And on the left side of the screen is the commands that we are going to use on the right side. So you can see that we have a bunch of commands that we can use for our sprite. And if we look above these command blocks, we see that there is a list of script categories or block categories. Now, each of these categories has different types of commands that we can give to our sprite. So there's motion, looks, sound, events, control, sensing, operators. There's a ton of different commands that we can give to our sprites. Now, as we go through this course, you are more than welcome to look through any of these script categories and use whatever scripts you like to make your sprite do the things that you want it to do. We will go through just about every category in this list by the end of the course, so there's that to look forward to. Now, computer programming isn't just telling the computer what we want it to do. It's telling the computer what we want it to do when we want it to do it. So the very first command we're going to give to our sprite is actually to listen for something to happen. When the sprite is listening for something to happen, it's waiting, waiting, and as soon as that thing happens, then it runs all of the commands that we tell it to run when that event happens. So the first script category that we're going to go into is the events category. So we'll click on the events category, and here you see we've got a whole bunch of events that we can choose from. The simplest event is just this top one, when the green flag is clicked. The when green flag is clicked event will listen for when your program starts. Most Scratch programs start when the green flag is clicked. You can actually see the green flag picture up here in the top right corner of the stage. Most programs start by clicking on the green flag. So we're going to tell our sprite to do something when the green flag is clicked. In order to tell our sprite to listen for that event, we just click on this event block, like this, and drag it to the right into the scripts area and drop it there. Now this script is part of our sprite. So our sprite is listening for when the green flag is clicked, but it's not going to do anything yet. Let's find something simple for it to do, just so we can see that it is, in fact, listening for that event. Now, a pretty simple command is under the looks category, which is kind of purple next to it. So let's click on the looks category. And at the very top, you see this command block, say hello for 2 seconds. Let's use this one. So to use it, again, just click on the command and drag it into the scripts area. And you can see that the event has this little tooth or bump under it, and the say hello block has a sort of hole or a divot at the top. So those mean that those two blocks will actually link together and become one big command block. So we can see when we drag it next to it and let go, they click together. So now, when the green flag is clicked, it is going to run all of the commands that are attached under that event. In our case, it's going to say hello for 2 seconds when the green flag is clicked. Now, maybe you don't want your sprite to say hello. That's great. We can change that. To change what your sprite says, you just click inside this white box that says hello, and we can delete that and type whatever we want. So following the computer programming tradition, I am going to have my first program say hello world. So now when the green flag is clicked, my sprite is going to say what I told it to say, which in my case is hello world. So let's take a look and see if this works. When I click on the green flag, I expect my dragon sprite to say hello world. Let's see. And he says hello world. Great! The computer did exactly what we told it to do. We told it to say hello world for 2 seconds, and that's what it did. Now, maybe 2 seconds isn't long enough. Maybe you want your sprite to say a thing for longer. That's great. We can change that too. So if you want your sprite to talk for longer, you can just click inside of this white circle where it says 2 for 2 seconds. And we can change that to whatever number we want. So I might change it to 4 seconds, for instance. Now, when we click on the green flag, it's going to run our new command, which is say hello world for 4 seconds. So let's see if that works. I'm going to click on the green flag and count. 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's gone. So now the computer is respecting the commands that we give it. The computer will always do exactly what you tell it to do, and we can tell it to do things by putting our commands over here in the scripts area. Now we've given our Scratch program its first command. It's pretty basic, but in the next video, and as the course continues, we're going to look at some more complex commands that we can give to our sprite.